Hello and welcome to Bored and Confused, where I review shows based on two criteria. One, was I bored? Two, was I confused? Today's show is Jerome, a new play now playing at Playwrights Horizons. But before I jump into this very good play, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and it also helps me get press tickets to plays and places like Playwrights Horizons, which I love. So watch these videos and let people know about all the great theater that we're talking about here. So what did I know going in? I went in not knowing anything about this. If that's all you need, you can turn off this video right now and go in completely open like I was and be surprised. But if you want to know more, keep watching. And actually, don't turn off the video, just turn off the volume or slide the browser window out of your site and let it play out, because it really hurts the algorithm when people stop watching 30 seconds in. I mean, who would do that? So I will say in the program, there is a note from John J. Caswell Jr., the playwright, and in it, it talks about the city of Jerome, about him being a young gay man, about the AIDS crisis, about Sally Jesse Raphael and other popular culture at the time. And it was really a nice way to get into the mindset of the playwright before the show started. And reading it, I realized he and I are probably about the same age, because all of the references here are really resonating with me. And also in the play, it's just three people in this play, but one of the characters is about the same age as me as well. So there was a nice sense of connection with this play and this story and the writer right from the beginning. So let's talk about the history of this show's development. John J. Caswell Jr., the playwright, is an Arizona-born playwright. He grew up in rural Arizona. His great-grandmother lived in Camp Verde, about 30 miles from Jerome, and he visited the neighboring towns on family road trips in the 1990s when Jerome was functioning as a kind of tourist ghost town, a destination for spiritual seekers, crystal shops, energy healing, that whole woo-woo scene. But what stuck with him the most was a single image. He saw two men sitting on a bench together in a way that was, as he described it, familiar, but that he had never seen before in blood-red conservative Yavapai County. Those two men became Con and Don, two characters in this play. Now, Caswell grew up closeted during the AIDS epidemic, watching it unfold through news reports from rural Arizona. He's described this play as being about, quote, the divide between the fear I grew up and lived much of my life with and freedom. This is a deeply personal play. For theater fans who know his work, his last play at Playwrights Horizons was Wet Brain, which earned a lot of attention and critical praise. He's back at the same theater with Jerome, again working with director Dustin Wills, who won an Obie Award for directing Wet Brain. So what is this show about? Jerome is about a gay couple, Con and Don, who have been together for something like 20 years, living in the tiny town of Jerome, Arizona. They're both veterans who met in the war, fell in love, and built a life together there. Con, played by two-time Tony winner Stephen Spinella, has significant physical challenges. He took bullets in his military service and now has trouble walking, along with a lot of other medical issues. And as he looks ahead at the probability that he will die before his partner, he wants to make sure that Don won't be alone and will have a fulfilled life in every sense of that word. The key theme of this play is compersion. Now, if you don't know that word, that is the empathetic feeling of experiencing joy or happiness when a loved one experiences joy or happiness. Often described as the direct opposite of jealousy. It is most commonly discussed in the context of polyamory and consensual non-monogamy, when a partner feels happy seeing their significant other in love with someone else. It's a good word, right? So into Con and Don's world comes Bruin, played by Ken Barnett. Oh, and I also should mention that Don is played by Jeorge Bennett Watson. Bruin is a younger man in his 50s who has fled San Francisco, and he's come to Jerome to get away, to find himself, to escape. He meets these two guys, and the three of them eventually form something of a throuple. But Bruin is not very forthcoming about his past. He's using alcohol to cope with things he has experienced, and over more than a year with these men, he doesn't share these things that these two men, who have given each other everything, really deserve to know. All of this is set at the height of the AIDS epidemic in the early 1990s. In Jerome, Arizona, they're more removed from the crisis than someone in San Francisco or New York would be, but Bruin brings those ghosts with him. The play takes place across 3 Halloweens. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say the portrayal feels very realistic. There is a scene involving sex between the three men, but it's all audible. You hear it, you don't see it. And it is actually quite interesting, funny, and very truthful. So whether you're gay or straight, I think anyone can relate to how sometimes sex can be difficult, awkward, and humorous, especially in your later years. Despite those moments in the first act, this play is ultimately a love story and an examination of death and how we provide for those we leave behind. So let's talk about some positives and negatives. What works? All three of these characters are fully three-dimensional. Stephen Spinella's Khan is a wonderful creation. He's dealing with his own mortality, with feeling overlooked by one of his partners, with wanting his lover to have a full life after he's gone. And through all of that, he's funny and kind and awkward and loving. I love spending time with him in this play. Also, I want to add, there are a handful of one-liners, usually delivered by Khan, that had me really rolling. My friend and I who attended the play are still quoting one of them over texts. So, what might not work for everyone, this is my one criticism, is Bruin's withholding. At a certain point, his silence about his past starts to feel like a theatrical device. His trauma backs it up, and it's understandable why he wouldn't want to share certain things. But it goes on for over a year in the world of the play. And I feel like it can become frustrating for the audience and definitely for Khan and Doan, who have shared their entire lives with each other and have opened it up to this man, and he's not being honest with him. The second act also wraps up pretty neatly. Honestly, I didn't mind that. But there is a moment where Bruin finally confesses everything, and the playwright finds a clever way to force that to happen, but it does feel a little convenient. It wraps up very sweetly, which I don't have a problem with, but I could see how some people who prefer things a little messier might feel differently. After the end of the first act, I was ahead of the narrative, but I still enjoyed watching it play out. And I was surprised by an unexpected scene at the top of Act 2, which was good because it added a bit of unpredictability to Act 2. So, was I bored? Was I confused? No, I was not bored. The play runs 2 hours and 20 minutes with one intermission. There's always drama. There's always interesting characters saying interesting things. The set design is cool. The lighting is fantastic. The performance holds you the whole way through. So, no, not bored at all. Was I confused? Just a little, but mostly for reasons that really weren't too distracting from the rest of the play. Number one, the set. This house in Jerome is built into the side of a mountain, so one of the walls should be stone. But in this set design, all of the walls are stone. And in the first act, I kept wondering if this was some kind of metaphor. And I don't think it was. I think it was just a practical design choice that makes complete sense once you see what happens in the second act. But early on, I was genuinely puzzling over it. 2, the chronology. Now, the program tells you the play takes place over 3 Halloweens. But there was a moment towards the end of the first year where they jumped forward almost a year to Columbus Day. And I wasn't sure where we were in the timeline. I wasn't sure if we'd gone past another Halloween because I genuinely don't know when Columbus Day is. Now, my friend who was with me, he has a birthday around Columbus Day. So during intermission, he let me know it was in October. So suddenly I knew exactly where we were. So that one is probably more about me not knowing federal holidays than anything the play did wrong. So let me wrap this up. I've said a lot of positive things, and I mean them all. John J. Caswell Jr. has written really great dramatic scenes with multidimensional characters. This is a great play for actors, a great play for a director, and honestly, a great play for audiences. So go check out Jerome. I'm going to give you some reasons to see this if I haven't convinced you yet. This is a beautiful play about relationships that happen to be LGBT relationships, but I think they speak universally to everyone. If you enjoy a good drama with some comedy and a positive message, go see Jerome. And honestly, this is a great way to start Pride Month. How do you get your tickets? Well, I was fortunate enough to get a press ticket. Thank you so much, Playwrights. I've been seeing stuff here. I think everything I've seen here I've liked, so they're doing great work. So I had a good seat, but any seat is great in this space. It's very intimate. You'll be close to the action no matter where you end up, so don't worry about your seat. I was somewhere in the middle. So, where can you get your cheap tickets? Playwrights Horizons has some great discount options on their website. A student member ticket is $29, and a young member ticket for anyone under 35 is $39. You can also get 33 rush tickets on the TodayTix app, and there's $40 tickets on TDF. And I've also heard that there were tickets on Audience Extras during the previews, but if you're watching this, the show has just opened. But still, maybe check it out. Yeah, I really love this play. So go check it out and come back and tell me what your thoughts are about Jerome. Let me know if the predictability of the second act, one, if it was predictable for you, and if the predictability was a negative thing or you were just happy to go on the journey like I was. All right, thanks for watching this, and I will see you at the next one, which is Girl Interrupted, the musical. Bye.
Don't wanna drift away, wanna stay inside the play. Keep me engaged, keep me amused with what's in front of me, 'cause I don't wanna be